Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. A big shout out to everybody tapping in on this beautiful Super Bowl Sunday. Yet and still there's a lot going on, so let's continue down this rabbit hole. Before we do that, I just want to go ahead and give you a heads up on what I'm reading currently. And currently it is the Book of Conspiracies by Kamalakar G. Before we get into it, don't ever forget to smash that like button for me, smash that hype button, and if you're not already a part of the iTrack fam, smash that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and jump right into it now.
Music is a great example. It's a common man's example. You know, when you hear a certain song, it makes you feel a certain way. How does it do that? We don't know. We can't mathematize it. And even that music, Steve, nowadays we compress music. When you have a violin, it's compressed onto your iPhone. So what does compression mean? I'm taking lots of information and I'm cutting it into lots of pieces and squishing it together. And when I squish it or compress it, I have to take out lots of pieces, but I say that they're not very important pieces. It's those pieces that we take out when we compress data, to me, are the most interesting parts of life.
His intellect definitely outreached the average Joe. And that's what lets me know why he was so capable of, moving around in so many circles. Because he wasn't just a one-dimensional thinker.
We are watching Ghislaine Maxwell in her jail cell right now. And no, this isn't secretly recorded. She is being watched 24/7 by the US Department of Justice. Why are they watching her 24/7 inside of her jail cell? I think we all know why. The US Department of Justice is not only sharing this footage to let us know that she is very much alive and well, but also to remind all of us that she is about to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee. They are not only expecting her to talk, they are expecting her to finally tell the truth. Because now that thousands of photos, documents, and emails have been released, we know she's been lying. Take this photo behind me of the young Virginia Giuffre, who Ghislaine and Prince Andrew are both in, and they both claimed that this photo was a fake. In Maxwell's emails herself written to Giuffre, she herself admitted that this picture not only was real, but that it was taken inside of her home before Virginia was assaulted. In fact, everything is proving what Virginia Giuffre has been saying to be the truth this entire time. Now they're hoping, thanks to the release of Giuffre's will and testament, seeing how much he left his 30-year-old girlfriend and how little he left his at the time 58-year-old ex-girlfriend Ghislaine, she will see how little Giuffre even truly cared for her, as she is serving decades behind bars for helping him. If you missed my video about this, in Giuffre's will 2 days before he stops living, he left hundreds of millions of dollars to his at the time 30-year-old girlfriend, talking penthouses, apartments, his entire island. Yes, that island, along with a 33-carat ring and over 40 loose diamonds. What did he leave the woman who lost it all for him? He left her the same amount of money he left one of his pilots. Yes, one of his employees. All she would have gotten had his fortune not been taken to pay his victims was $10 million. A friend of his who he had only been friends with for a few years got $5 million. Now that not only her life has been taken from her, but she's also been humiliated in front of the world, we're about to see if that means she's going to stop lying and covering up for all of the monsters she has spent her entire life covering up.
Hey, is it me? Or should they not have had Giuffre under that same surveillance? It seems like he might have been a little bit more of a key player than her. Like, he had a camera, but the camera was outside the cell. The camera should have been inside the cell, just like hers was.
Might be the first humanoid robot you can actually buy. It's called Neo, built by 1X, and it just opened pre-orders for $20,000, or $499 a month to rent. Now, here's where it gets wild. For now, NEO isn't fully autonomous. A real human connects through VR to control it remotely. You schedule tasks in the app, and someone from 1X literally loads your dishwasher, folds laundry, or vacuums your floor through the robot. That might sound weird, but it's actually genius. Every task helps train its AI brain, called Redwood, so that one day it can handle everything by itself, and you stay in full control. You can blur faces, block zones, and choose when it connects. Personally, I think this is a huge step forward. Not because it's perfect, it can't handle knives or boiling water yet, but because it's learning in real homes, not labs. This might be how real domestic robots finally become normal.
Everyone is starting to be less speechless after finding out that Adam Sandler is in the Epstein files. Yes, you in fact heard me correctly, and the crazy thing is that he was not in the Epstein files just like one time. He was actually mentioned in the Epstein files over 50 different times. Now, thankfully, though, every single time Adam Sandler was mentioned in the Epstein files, he was not associated with anything bad. He was not involved with Jeffrey Epstein in any way, shape, or form. Just a lot of people would invite Jeffrey Epstein to like award shows and whatnot, and would mention that Adam Sandler was a nominee for certain awards. On top of that, there was a lot of times where people would mention Adam Sandler's name in like some sort of joke. And also, it just seemed like Jeffrey Epstein might have been an Adam Sandler fan, because there was a lot of times where just Adam Sandler movies were mentioned via emails and whatnot with Jeffrey Epstein. So technically, yes, Adam Sandler is in the Epstein files, but not for anything bad at all. His name was just mentioned 50 different times for, random jokes and award shows and whatnot. So he did nothing wrong, and I'm curious to know your thoughts about all of this.
I'm sure nobody wants to be mentioned in them documents at all. Not even as like a passing conversation. Nah.
My ET parents are Zeta, so they're gray. And, of course I have...
Why don't you have a big head and huge eyes?
Yeah, so my physical DNA is, human, which is, once again, this mix, this hybridization. We're an experiment. We're a hybrid experiment. But my soul is very much so connected to the Zetas and the Galactic Federation.
Now, you were telling me before the program that you just had a baby.
Yes, I did.
Is it a human baby?
Yes, he is. However, I did tell my galactic family that if he wanted to show up looking a little bit more alien, that would be okay too.
People who are starseeds, are they hybrids?
So humans who are starseeds, they definitely have higher amounts of extraterrestrial DNA within them, but once again, it comes down to their soul being more extraterrestrial than their physical body with that purpose.
You know what a cyborg is, right?
Yeah.
Part human, part machine?
Yep.
Are they making some of those?
Not really. They're really focused on more of the organic biological.
How many people could be starseeds and they don't even know it?
A lot. I think there are so many starseeds on this planet who have no idea who they are and why they're here, which does lead to a lot of mental health and anxiety and depression.
There's so many Epstein file connections to Katy Perry's music video. First we see Bon Appetit written in a red substance. Then we see this refrigerated room with her body in it. She is under some plastic. We see a bunch of chefs in white come and get her. They then put her in flour or baby powder, kneading her like dough. We then see a cutting board and they're putting vegetables all over her. Next, we see her in a pot. We see them pouring this, but what does that look like? And especially cooked. They take this substance and paint her fingernails with it. She gets her hair cut, super short, resembling youth. Putting oil or baby oil on. The chefs take her through this kitchen door, served on this table to the rich. Allegedly, there was a Diddy party that had the same concept, having a buffet around this individual. Why are their eyes glowing like that? Also see the Migos, and that's a hand. Everyone is around her with their plates. They come tied in their chairs and she gets up on the table. The way that the black lights are really reminds me of the Yummy video. There's pink powder flying everywhere. Notice the colors, pink. They are being blindfolded. Tied up, an apple in the mouth. If you haven't seen the picture of the turkey on the table in the Epstein files, go look. The chefs are doing things to these people to have red substance all over them. And we see her with a pie that has certain things in it. Here's a performance. Notice the girls in the pink, see the table and guests around it. Promo for this was also being at an art exhibit with her head on this plate. Also have this of the people as fruits. And in this music video, look at the eye on her outfit and feeding the rich people cake. Them eating the cake is giving this, and maybe I'm reaching. They also have this huge pig, which reminds me of this and the baby pig in the Yummy music video. This is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only.
Hey, before the Epstein files even came out, most people would have considered that shock value content. But at this point, we know there's hidden messages going on because none of it makes sense. And the artists aren't trying to explain anything.
Okay, so that angle I got yesterday was really good, and it definitely looked like Jeffrey Epstein. But the angle that they put out today, no doubt in my mind, that is 1000% Jeffrey Epstein. Doesn't look like anybody else. But what I keep coming back to, you guys, is Epstein's been passed for almost 7 years. So why now that they released all, quote unquote, of the Epstein files, does this homeless guy who looks just like Jeffrey Epstein make a public appearance? I know I'm not the only one that feels like that's just a pretty crazy coincidence. Oh yeah, they conveniently got 4 or 5 different shots of him not trying to hide or do anything at all. Just walking around in broad daylight. Nothing happens for a reason. It's probably all just a huge coincidence.
Hey, how awful of a life would it be to be walking around even looking like a public enemy number one? I mean, that has to be a rough life.
The amount of people who knew when they heard Selma and Angelina Jolie were going back to Veracruz that was the witches' capital amazed me. I had no clue at all. The amount of people who said hide your kids, the locals who put videos out and said hide your kids. Wow.
I think that Jared Kushner might actually be the Antichrist. Did you guys see that the Epstein files mentioned Jared Kushner being the whole entire brains behind the presidency? That he is the one behind the scenes making all of the moves and all of the decisions. And he is on the board of peace as well. Not only that, he has been doing all of the dealings in Israel. He's there almost every single month. When you realize that Trump might not even be the president, the whole time it's Jared Kushner. I don't know if y'all remember, but there were so many speculations years and years ago about this man being the Antichrist. He's gonna be the one. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, he was on my list, but he has just quickly risen to number 1 on my list. Jared Kushner might be the son of perdition. Isn't that kind of funny? Because he's a son-in-law of Trump. So like son of perdition, like Trump is the man of sin. Trump is Satan. No, I'm playing. But this man might be the actual Antichrist. And he fits the bill. He looks like he would be an Antichrist. I mean, and when I picture Antichrist, this is exactly what I picture him looking like.
It's the only thing that could solve the national debt. Like, nothing else will solve the national debt.
What was the point of the Doge cuts? If the economy is going to grow so much, why was it important to cut $100 billion off the deficit?
In the absence of AI and robotics, we're actually totally screwed because the national debt is piling up like crazy. Now, our interest payments to the national debt exceed the military budget, which is $1 trillion. So we have over $1 trillion just in interest payments. I was like, okay, pretty concerned about that. Maybe if I spend some time, we can slow down the bankruptcy of the United States and give us enough time for the AI and robots to help solve the national debt. Or not help solve. It's the only thing that could solve the national debt. Like, we are 1,000% going to go bankrupt as a country and fail as a country without AI and robots. Nothing else will solve the national debt. We need enough time to build the AI and robots and not go bankrupt before then.
But I saw Taiwan try, like with this golden dome on all sides, if the people will pray. If they don't, they'll fall within 3 days. I saw they'll fight for 1. I saw they'll fight into 2. But by the end of the 2nd day, it will completely fold. I saw Chinese government using weapons that have never been used before. Similar to what America did to Venezuela. They have the same capabilities of technological weaponry. Maybe even better in some ways, in some things. Not every. I believe still America's top. But there was things that China had that even America didn't have. Secret things. And they would use them as a flex. Because these people had artillery and things to fight, but it was no match to what China would try to do. It fell in 3 days. It was like that.
I mean, you have to know, just as diligently as the U.S. is working on their military and the secret weapons, every other country that's able to, like China, is doing the same thing.
We underestimated the impact of AI basically across the board.
It's no secret AI is not only gobbling up a lot of jobs, it's also fundamentally transforming the automated tasks we do every day. And now a new report from the information technology company Cognizant shows those trends are speeding up more quickly than anticipated. The company says just a third of job-related tasks are safe from AI automation, down from 57% just last year, as AI learns to do more, including write its own code.
They go off and write big parts of your code and create pull requests and respond to your comments on the pull request. That's how quickly, that's like barely a year worth of innovation in AI.
And that level of innovation is starting to create risks for workers in jobs that were previously thought to be technology proof.
Decision-making jobs are now being exposed more than we expected. Legal healthcare, C-suite. These are areas where we didn't expect this level of exposure.
But there is a silver lining. Most experts agree that AI is not a blanket solution for replacing labor. Human judgment is still needed, and as development speeds up, it will create new kinds of jobs as more employers explore AI's full potential.
There's that transformation as well. Net new jobs that will be out there, and expansions in our responsibilities and the tasks that we do.
And according to a new Fox News poll out just this week, 6 out of 10 Americans say AI is advancing too quickly. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox 2 News.
There definitely will be a learning curve with AI, as we already see, and it won't be taking over everything, but a lot of things.
They couldn't help themselves. Yeah, that's right. They lit a flaming pentagram to start the games. How about that? But check this out. You guys won't believe this. Actually, you will. So how about that? The people that have an island where they eat lots of pizza decided to light a pentagram to celebrate their games. Everybody's really surprised, huh? Not that the lighting of a cauldron with a torch isn't inherently a ritualistic act, because, famously, Prometheus symbolizes the torch, which was stolen knowledge from the gods to be given to humanity. So, kind of like the serpent in the garden, knowledge, all that stuff. Yeah, Prometheus is basically, the devil. You guessed it. So maybe it is fitting that they lit a flaming pentagram to start the Olympics.
Don't forget about the Olympics. For the opening ceremony, a summonsing of darkness, a summonsing of witchcraft, a summonsing of evil in the opening ceremony, a summonsing of the Antichrist upon Europe. But the virus is not yet. But the virus is not yet. Most people say, well, it's coming soon. No, it's not yet.
Now, this makes twice that I've noticed, because the last Olympic Games, I think they had a reenactment of the Last Supper, and it was wicked. It was wicked.
For the top 5 jobs that could be replaced by AI by 2030, according to the World Economic Forum, this is part 2. I listed 10 through 6 yesterday, so make sure you go back and check that out. If any one of these jobs is yours, let me know in the comments, because 3 has me worried that I might want to start looking for a new career myself. You're also going to get a percentage of the likelihood that the job is completely replaced by 2030. And coming in at number 5 is a legal assistant contract reviewer with the 55% chance of being replaced by 2030. With tools like Lexis Plus AI that can summarize and review legal contracts, entry-level legal assistants are already going by the wayside. Coming in at number 4 with a 58% chance of being replaced is going to be a graphic designer. With tools like Adobe Firefly and Canva AI, graphic designing with high quality images has never been easier, making it so graphic designers aren't really necessary anymore. And coming in at number 3 with a 60% chance of being replaced by AI, and this one hurts a little bit, is a financial analyst.
People forget that the operation on October 7th was called Storm Al-Aqsa, and that is Al-Aqsa. It's a mosque that is sitting on top of where the first and second temple stood over 2,000 years ago, right here in Jerusalem. Well, I have good news for the whole world. There's a rainbow on top of it right now, which is a sign that God gave to Noah that he'll never destroy the world again. And not only will he not destroy the world again, but there will be, in the very near future, the third temple, the Beit HaMikdash. When the Mashiach comes, he will rebuild the Beit HaMikdash right there where that is standing, and the whole world will experience a generation of peace and prosperity. Contrary to what they want you to believe, that it will be a time of war, it's going to be a beautiful time where all the nations of the world will come right here, and they're going to pray and serve the one above in peace and harmony and prosperity.
Good? Oh, you put that thing on the woo!
You think Diddy was the villain? Okay, he is, but he's still less dangerous than these two. Diddy was born on November 4th, Jay-Z was born on December 4th, and Beyonce was born on September 4th. That alone is already strange, even if you want to call them coincidences. But then you have Jay-Z releasing an album literally called 444, almost like he was trying to signal that all 3 of them are connected without ever actually saying it. But the most important person in this whole strange story is this guy, J. Cole. Cole. He dropped a song where, according to fans, he subtly disses Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Diddy all at once. Listen very carefully to the lyrics. Knows, but a lot of people hear it as Sean Knows. And we know Jay-Z's real name is Sean, and Diddy's real name is Sean. On top of that, Beyonce's last name is Knowles. Yeah, it's not spelled the same, but in music, pronunciation matters more than spelling, especially when you know J. Cole is known for being an extremely technical lyricist. I don't know if people are overanalyzing the hidden messages, but I don't think the connections are fake. Now it's on you to tell me. Do you also think Jay-Z and Beyonce play a special role behind the scenes with other artists, or do you think all of this is just coincidence?
I think those Stain docs let us all know that there's stuff going on behind the scenes in every single area of all businesses.
These are people who were killed by AI. So Elaine Herzberg was the first person killed by a self-driving car after the AI sensors detected her but couldn't classify her as a pedestrian because she was walking a bicycle outside of a crosswalk. There have also been other potential autopilot-related deaths from failure to stop for trucks, barriers, and road curvatures, though this is heavily disputed. A man named Samuel Whitmore killed his wife after talking to AI for 14 hours a day and was convinced that his wife had been replaced by a machine, and a Belgian man took his life after an AI chatbot named Eliza encouraged him to do so to deal with his anxieties around climate change. The Cargo 2 incident in Libya involved a Turkish drone that hunted down and remotely engaged retreating soldiers without human supervision, being the first fully autonomous targeted kills by AI in history. A 14-year-old boy formed a romantic bond with a Game of Thrones AI chatbot, and it encouraged him to come home, to which unfortunately he did by taking his own life. And finally, a South Korean worker died after an AI robot designed to pick up boxes of peppers picked him up instead and then crushed him against a conveyor belt. That's terrible.
Jeffrey Epstein won the Powerball in 2008 for $80 million in New Mexico under his trust called Zorro Trust. And this begs the question, is the lottery rigged for the elites?
You mean freezing the body and living forever in that sense? I think there's a danger in that, in the sense that you create ice crystals. For example, if you take a look at a fish or a frog, there can be frozen solid over wintertime, and springtime you thaw them out and there they are. They've been frozen solid, and yet they can still swim and jump. Why? We know the answer. Glucose. Glucose is an antifreeze. And because these animals create lots of glucose in their blood, they're still liquid when the surrounding environment is totally solid. You could freeze a fish in solid ice and it still comes out because inside the metabolic processes are slowly taking place. We do not have this antifreeze. The level of glucose necessary for us to be in suspended animation would kill us. And so the very process of freezing, you have to worry about ice crystals. Ice crystals form inside a cell. As they grow, they rupture the cell wall. That is a big problem facing anyone who's going to be put in liquid nitrogen, formation of ice crystals.
Here's an insane compilation of hospital patients playing instruments while surgeons operate directly on their brains. During certain brain surgeries, called awake craniotomies, patients are kept fully conscious while doctors remove tumors or treat severe epilepsy. The brain itself cannot feel pain, so surgeons can safely work while the patient is awake. Patients are asked to talk, sing, or play instruments during the operation, so doctors can map exactly which parts of the brain control speech, movement, and music. If the patient suddenly loses coordination or stops playing correctly, surgeons immediately know they're too close to an important area. In some cases, patients can hear the drilling and feel pressure but experience no pain. Some even have full conversations with the surgical team while their brain is exposed. This insane process allows doctors to remove as much of the tumor as possible while avoiding permanent damage to speech, memory, or motor function. So while it looks unreal, these patients are actually helping to guide their own brain surgery in real time.
Hey, now that is such a high stakes job. I mean, one snip, one cut of the wrong piece of the brain, and you're done. That's wild.
I heard that the average supermarket apple is something between 9 months and a year old. That was picked in 2023. This food that I'm getting is that old. Is that true?
Nowadays, most food is bred for transport and not taste and nutrition. Oh my goodness.
So have y'all seen this creepy Mr. Beast video right here?
It's a little weird because I know
we're gonna eat a $70,000 pizza later, so it's kind of hard to get hyped for like a $2,000 steak, you know?
And now we pretty much know that that pizza term is not just a conspiracy theory anymore. It makes you think even more about conversations like this and all the pizza talk that we've heard through Hollywood over the years. Or you remember that time Ellen got pizza delivered to the Oscars in 2014 and was just serving it out? With her, we could talk about all kinds of things, like her choice of set dressing. But we can touch on that on another video. But you know, let's go back to Mr. Beast, because this guy's always gave me the creeps. First off, it's already weird that it's a content creator who started out making content exclusively for kids. Or let's talk about the fact that he's pretty much making the Squid Games, and if he's making games like this on TV, what's he doing in private? That's just a theory, I'm not saying that's what he's doing. Also, he has a whole line of candy and Lunchables, I guess. But also, that same video we talked about at the beginning, let's listen to another clip from that.
God, whoa, it's like slicing into a baby.
You know, I don't know if this video is real, but $70,000 pizza, baby talk, and the ultra rich all seems to connect.
At this point, with the climate of everything going on, and you start to say things like that, you're asking for a whole lot of problems, even if you have nothing to do with what's going on.
People that even science can't understand. Edward Mordrake, the man who had a second face on the back of his head. It wasn't a mask, but a real human face with eyes, a mouth, and a forehead. The face couldn't speak but smiled when Edward cried and cried when Edward laughed. Despite his pleas, all doctors of the time refused to help him. Unable to endure it any longer, he took his own life. According to Edward, the face spoke to him at night, whispering dark things and horrible secrets he never repeated. William James Sidis, the man considered the most intelligent in history. At 18 months old, he could already read. At 8 years old, he spoke 8 languages. He created his own language. At 12, he was teaching at Harvard, one of the greatest universities in the world. His intelligence was estimated at IQ 300, while an average human has around IQ 90. He understood languages without ever studying them. He memorized thousands of pages in a single day. But despite his brilliance, his life was ruined and he died unhappy. Almost no one knew his story.
So now you're telling me that it has been approved in Japan, the ability to mix animal and human DNA, therefore splicing it and creating animal-human hybrids that are allowed to come to term. Now I'm gonna let you marinate that for just a second. Are you good? Are we ready to cook this chicken? Now, the reason behind it is it's supposed to potentially help with human organ donors and transplants. Therefore, if you needed a heart, a liver, a lung, a kidney, you would have access to that quicker, because if you know anything about that, it is a very lengthy process and a very challenging one for those who need organs. But there are some huge red flags and a lot of skepticism attached to it, because they're not entirely sure what the human cells will potentially do to the animal brain. And then there's also the whole thing of religion. I swear every day I wake up, I'm like, what sci-fi movie did I just get a starring role on? What timeline did we just jump on? What universe are we currently residing in? So what do you think? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Let me know, put it in the comments. And obviously this is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only, but we need to talk about this.
I just arrived in a country that allows scientists to grow half human, half animal hybrids. Because I want to find out, why are they doing this? So these experiments work by injecting human stem cells into modified animal embryos. Since the embryos were modified to lack a specific organ, the human cells step in to develop that organ. But until recently, scientists were only approved for organs like lungs or livers. Now they have approval for the creation of hybrids with human brain cells. So this has raised a lot of questions. What if the animals become conscious like humans? Is this animal cruelty? And are we taking too much inspiration from the movies? But the only question I'm concerned with is, why are they doing this? Turns out all over the world there's a shortage of organ donors. So naturally there are many efforts to fill this shortage. Everything from 3D printing to black market harvesting. But what if we could grow human organs inside other animals and then just harvest those for transplants?
It's like a double-edged sword. I mean, on one hand, you're helping humanity. On the other hand, you're creating a whole new species just to be harvested. I don't know how I feel about that.
This little black ball is a microscopic robot, and it was designed to deliver drugs anywhere you need inside the body. Now this is a massive medical breakthrough, because this might be one way we could cure cancer in the future. Now the robots are coated in gelatin and magnetic particles. Once in the body, doctors can use magnetic fields to navigate them to a particular spot, and then dissolve the gelatin to release the drug. You can see here, they're using it to dissolve a blood clot, and it works super well. Now in the future, this method could work to bring targeted chemotherapy directly to a tumor. It could also target specific infections infections, or even bring stem cells to a particular area. We are just scratching the surface for the future of medicine, AI, and robotics.
People around the world are comparing him to Leonardo da Vinci. Starting with nothing but a block of marble, this Italian sculptor creates ultra-realistic statues using modern tools. Every carving he makes is with precision and purpose. The detail is so extreme that you can see the pores and wrinkles in the stone. His goal is to express pain and agony through his sculptures. After months of sculpting, the result is a truly beautiful, one-of-a-kind masterpiece.
The original Eternal Life template, sleep was a conscious sacred return to source, but after the installation of artificial lunar satellites, particularly the artificial moon matrix, linked to fallen seraphim and archontic technologies, human sleep cycles begin to fracture. A very long time ago, approximately 550,000 years ago, humans used to sleep in a special way. When they closed their eyes, their mind stayed aware and they could travel in their dreams, connect with their higher self, and help Earth just by dreaming. Sleep was like opening a magical doorway to other parts of who they really were and are. But something happened. A group of beings who had turned away from source through free will choice created an artificial moon. There is a true lunar current, a true divine feminine current. Doesn't mean every time you say lunar, it's bad. No. But there is an artificial moon placed, right? And it wasn't natural. It sent out fake signals that literally confused the body and the mind, especially during sleep.
You encounter vampires on a regular basis in your life and probably don't even realize it when it's happening. I know that sounds insane, but there are different types of vampires. One of the most prevalent kind are energy vampires. They will suck all of your energy away, and it's just a completely draining experience. And, it's kind of a wild thing to think about, but honestly, the best time to encounter really any kind of vampire in Galveston specifically is during Mardi Gras.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. I stop doing tours when Mardi Gras is happening. Like, for the weeks that Mardi Gras is occurring, I will not do walking tours at all because I have had vampires on my tours and I have run into them in the streets.
Mardi Gras got her shook.
You start reaching a certain level of wealth and celebrity, there's only a few people who have that kind of reach, and they're all going to be targets of some sort of government effort one way or the other. It's Zuckerberg, almost guaranteed. Peter Thiel, almost guaranteed. Pete Diddy, almost guaranteed. And they can literally go anywhere in the world and be welcomed. They're getting phone calls from all sorts of people. This is great because the movies will make you think that the intelligence comes from what they say, right? Like Diddy is somehow going to sit down with like an oligarch in Russia and they're going to have a conversation about a drug deal or a weapons shipment. That's not the value. The value is when Diddy's private plane lands in Belarus. On the back tail fin of that plane is a little piece of technology that's been installed by NSA that sucks up all the cellular signals in a 5 square mile radius. And now that little piece of technology sucks up all of the cell phone data for the private cell phones of the oligarchs that otherwise couldn't be reached. And the book that my wife and I wrote together that's currently being published is the most contemporary, most modern, most detailed CIA memoir to have ever been written. There has never been something that was written this close to when the operations occurred. There's never been something written where the operations are still active. And that is a very sensitive thing, and that's why CIA tried to block the publication. I made program in the form of an ebook called Photographic Memory Protocol. It's not motivation, it's a system. The link is in my bio.
This is an exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and, we think, a urologist, and I'm quoting, and they're going back and forth on stuff, and he says, I'm back, can call you in Stendra 100 at Zitmer. Now, Stendra is apparently an erectile dysfunction drug, and he's prescribing it to Jeffrey Epstein, who apparently needs it. And Epstein writes, how many? And the doctor writes back, 10. After you use them, let's go get pizza and grape soda. Call me. So to all the people who dismissed out of hand this conspiracy theory about Pizzagate, oh, it had nothing to do with sex or kids or anything illicit at all. It wasn't a code word. Here you have, apparently, Jeffrey Epstein's urologist telling him that after you take your erectile dysfunction drug, wash your hands and join me for pizza and grape soda. Okay, now.
It's just the wildest thing I've ever seen to see so many people in on it. It really just goes back to that birds of a feather thing, man. If you're hanging out with somebody like that, it's over for you.
Well, everyone is freaking out because McDonald's just came out with their new limited edition caviar. If you don't know what caviar is, it's literally fish eggs, but McDonald's thought it would be a good idea to put it on chicken nuggets. Not to mention, McDonald's announced they were specifically doing this as a Valentine's Day special. The comment section is completely clowning them, saying they could barely even keep an ice cream machine working. And the most concerning part is McDonald's put a countdown on their website for when this kit releases. People are saying this countdown signifies the next virus because no one really knows what this caviar is made of. All I know is McDonald's chicken nuggets were already unhealthy enough, now they're trying to add fish eggs on top of it.
I was just about to say before you said it at the end, they just started using all white chicken breast for those chicken nuggets. So what do you think that they're using for that caviar?
Charlie and I spoke a lot about his third eye. That's why that sentence caught my attention in the article. He spoke about the street lamps that would go off when he would run, about the special school that he had to go to. We spoke about a lot of the things that were strange in our childhood, the testing that both of us had to endure. We spoke about the fact that we could both astral project. You know all of this, of course. You have his phone. And how surprised we were when we learned that not everybody does that naturally. Sleep paralysis, you name it. We had conversations about it.
Basically, military technology right now is about 1,200 years more advanced than public state technology. And computer technology right now, it's off the scale, I can't tell you. It's just right now, and employing just in black jet and stealth aircraft, the new computers are so completely advanced that we couldn't get them in the public sector for maybe another 40 or 50 years.
Actors that were trying to tell us something.
I did, whenever you do a film like this where you fight Satan or the devil, you have to prepare yourself the right way. And so I did research in satanic kind of cults and stuff like that. You know, as a matter of fact, in Los Angeles right now, there's like 50,000 devil worshippers. And that's not even that's not even including the agents.
Yeah.
But let me
Our crowd was too busy cheering satanic worship to hear the joke.
It takes a lot of research and
The movie Arnold is referencing is called End of Days and came out in 1999, and I have to get around to watching it because I'm sure it's filled with symbolism as well. This particular scene happens to depict the man downstairs in his final form. I mean, look at that. Should be of no surprise that this type of content was on Conan's late night show as well, considering I found a skit of him doing this.
An entire audience chanting along. You're going to hell when you die.
Some people would say these interviews and skits are just a weird, dark style of humor. Other people might say that they're hypothetically putting the truth right in front of our faces. Comment below, let me know, am I onto something or am I tripping? Wake up.
Actually, Arnold looked a little shook after he figured out what was going on in Hollywood. And the crowd seemed way too excited to know that there were that many satanic churches in Hollywood.
It was just announced that rapper Lil Jon's son was found dead at age 27, 2 days after going missing. It was reported that he was found in a Georgia pond, and this was published today, February 7th. One of the articles mentioned that he died at 27. The 27 Club is an informal list of popular musicians who have died at the age of 27, so I don't think this is by any coincidence. Him dying in a pond reminded me of the film Princess and the Frog. If you guys follow Astral Assassin, she did a post where she showed connections to the New Orleans musician Dr. John. Dr. John, who went by the name Malcolm John Rabbinick Jr. Now, his name reminded me of Malcolm Jamal Warner, who passed away on July 20th. That's the reverse of 2772. Malcolm Jamal Warner died in an accidental drowning, so another death in a body of water. Now, when I was originally looking around for his son's birthday, I didn't find it automatically. He goes by the name DJ Young Slade. Now, this isn't him, but Slade Williams, a TikTok star, came up with a birthday of October 3rd, which is a Libra. Which piqued my interest because October 3rd, Taylor Swift released Life of a Showgirl, and the cover art has her nearly drowning in a body of water. In case you think this is a reach, this is connected to her song The Fate of Ophelia, which is a story by Hamlet where Ophelia ends up drowning, which is interesting because Taylor Swift just released her music video video for Opalite. The birth month of Opalite is October 3rd. 1-3 is also 13, and in the Rider's Waite Tarot is known as the Death card. So we just had a son sacrificed, and tomorrow on Sunday, we have Bad Bunny performing. So remember I said Taylor Swift's album cover for The Life of a Showgirl released October 3rd. That's 103. Bad Bunny's birthday is March 10th, 310. Taylor Swift is known for showing herself in Alice in Wonderland symbolism, whether it be her Grammys performance of her song Wonderland or her many other symbols that she's shown in different music videos. Bad Bunny could be a signal to the White Rabbit, who Alice chases down the rabbit hole to enter into Wonderland or the inverted world. Now, remember I mentioned Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl. She's reenacting the Hamlet play Ophelia. Well, in Ophelia, in Act 4, Scene 7, Queen Gertrude reports that Ophelia had climbed into a willow tree and that the branch had broken and dropped Ophelia into the brook where she drowned. Taylor Swift has a song called Willow, which came out on December 11th on her album Evermore. December 11th is also the day The Princess and the Frog was released. Last year's Super Bowl took place in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is the location that The Princess and the Frog is based in, and where Dr. John is from. One of the performers at the Super Bowl halftime show last year was John Batiste. This reminded me of the Baptiste family in the film Eve's Bayou. Talking about the ponds and the swamps, we're speaking primarily about the Duat. Eve's Bayou takes place in Louisiana. So a lot of themes of death in the afterlife. Now some final codes, assuming that this birthday is correct, is that DJ Young Slade was a Taurus. Taurus is ruled by the sign of Venus, the planet of beauty and love. Remember I said there were themes of Opalite, with Taylor Swift just releasing her music video and having her cover Drowning. Opalite being associated with the zodiac sign Libra, which is also ruled by Venus. Also some final codes. So if we go back to Super Bowl 58, Usher Raymond also performed with Lil Jon there, and Usher also lost a son, his stepson specifically, to drowning. So a lot of themes of the falling and the rising sun. Don't forget, guys, we are having a Super Bowl pre, post, and after party tomorrow. If you would like to attend and watch 3 other decoders give you our live thoughts on pre and post party rituals for the Super Bowl tomorrow, be sure to visit the link in my bio, go to the book online section, live events, and book your ticket. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wow, there is definitely a lot to be decoded, and the eye can be deceived very easily if you're not paying attention to all the signs and signals.
Naomi Campbell is refusing to speak out about being once again mentioned in the Jeff docs. Naomi has been named in newly released Jeff-related docs that have gotten a lot of attention online. The documents show repeated contact between Naomi and Jeff across several years. This includes messages about events, travel, and possible business discussions. Some of the messages show Naomi asking to speak with Jeff urgently. One message reads, "Please call Naomi right away. She really needs to speak to you." Another message from the same period shows Naomi asking about travel plans and possible meetups. These messages have been widely shared since the documents were released. There are also older messages linked to possible business advice. Naomi is shown asking Jeff to look at designs for a swimwear line connected to a major fashion brand. Another exchange mentions arranging meetings with retail figures at Jeff's home during the early 2010s. Naomi has previously spoken very strongly about Jeff. She said, "When I heard about what he had done, it sickened me. I stand with the victims." Those comments were made years ago and are now being reshared alongside the new documents. Right now, Naomi has not addressed the latest release. Her team has been approached, but no new statement has been given. As the documents continue to circulate, the focus remains on her silence. But before you go, I want to know, do you think Naomi will speak about this?
Pretty much any celebrity that had anything to do with that whole situation should come out and say something. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for always stopping by and watching another one with me. Wanted to go ahead and enlighten you guys with another book that I'm reading. It's called The Big Book of Conspiracy Theories. So I'm going heavy right now on all the information. It's early in the year, and a lot of the information that we seek is in these books. So, you gotta take some time to feed your mind. Before we get out of here, make sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. Hit the hype button, and if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, smash that subscribe button, man, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.